All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to do something a little different. Instead of just looking at a topic, we're going to deconstruct how a topic is actually taught. We're pulling back the curtain on a super specialized English lesson, one designed specifically for professionals working in the global agribusiness sector.
And it all starts with this really simple four-word question. In pretty much any professional setting, it's the classic opening line. But in the world of international business, the stakes behind your answer are incredibly high. This question, it's the central challenge this whole lesson is built to solve. And that's because in this industry, think about it, it's this huge web of producers, analysts, managers, policymakers, all spanning different continents. Your introduction isn't just a nicety. It's your professional identity. It's your credibility. It's your business card, all rolled into one short statement. So this gets us to the core problem. Imagine you're a rural development manager from Brazil, and you're talking to a potential partner over in Germany. Being able to clearly say who you are and what your organization does, well, that's not just a language skill, is it? It becomes a critical business function. You see, the real objective here isn't just about nailing grammar or memorizing vocabulary. It's about empowerment. This lesson is designed to give these professionals the tools they need to talk about themselves and their work with absolute confidence, turning a moment that could be full of anxiety into a real opportunity to connect. So let's get into the first step of this journey and see how it all gets built. Before you can construct that professional identity, you need the raw materials. And in language, that means one thing: vocabulary. And we're not talking about just any generic words here. Notice how specific this language is. Rural development manager, environmental inspector, socioeconomic development analyst. These are the precise nouns that build a professional identity in this sector. But a title by itself is, well, it's static. You need action. And that's where these key verbs come in: to produce, to manage, to supply, to trade. These are the building blocks. They describe what these professionals and their organizations do. They're kind of like the engines that drive the entire industry. And this is where you see those pieces just brilliantly snap together. The verb to supply is being used in a real-world professional context. This isn't some abstract exercise. This is the language used in actual project descriptions. This is the moment vocabulary becomes real communication. Now, if vocabulary words are the bricks, then grammar is the mortar that holds them all together. But let's not think of it as a boring set of rules. Think of it as the engine that makes the whole system run smoothly and professionally. The lesson focuses specifically on the simple present tense, and for a very strategic reason. When you introduce yourself, you're stating facts. I am an analyst. My company produces soybeans. The simple present is the grammar of clarity, a fact, which is exactly what you need here. And here, the whole structure is broken down into three simple logical steps. You have the affirmative, she works; the negative, she doesn't work; and the question, does she work? By mastering this simple structure, a learner gains real control over their professional story. So, here's the crucial point. Notice how a tiny grammatical detail can make a huge difference. On the left, the director work in a cooperative. You understand it, but it sounds incorrect. Now, look at the right. The director works in a cooperative. Just adding that one little S lifts the whole sentence to a professional standard. It's a small key that unlocks a big door. This is where the lesson makes a big pivot. It's one thing to understand the theory, but it's a completely different thing to use it under pressure. This next phase is all about moving from passive knowledge to active skill. And notice the structured approach here. The lesson really scaffolds the learning process. It starts with simple vocabulary matching, then moves to fill in the blanks, and it all builds up to a pair activity for actual oral practice. Each step builds right on top of the last one. This fill-in-the-blank exercise is a perfect example of that first step in application. It gives the learner a framework and a choice. It allows them to start building their own sentences, expressing their own reality, but in a controlled, low-stakes environment. And now, the training wheels come off. The lesson starts to simulate a real conversation. By kicking off the pair activity with a direct question like this, it forces the learners to reach back, grab the information they've learned, and apply it in a dynamic conversational context. Then the questions get even more specific, pushing the learners to provide more detail. It's not just about stating your job title anymore. It's about discussing what you and your organization actually accomplish, using those key action verbs we saw earlier. This is basically the final practice run before the real world. So, what's the ultimate result of this whole carefully constructed journey? It's a fundamental transformation in a professional's ability to operate on the global stage. This is really the key takeaway. The lesson takes learners from having just a list of isolated words and a single grammar rule, and it guides them toward being able to have a fluid, confident, and meaningful professional conversation. It connects all the dots. And this leaves us with a final thought. It shows us that by breaking down a complex challenge into its essential parts, specific vocabulary, the right grammar tool, and structured practice, even a single focused lesson can do more than just teach a language. It can unlock an entire professional world.